Hi, everybody. Happening in Fulton. Fulton's major vaccination and testing efforts are proving successful, with the county administering the most vaccines in the state. For those updates and more, here's Fulton County Manager Dick Anderson.
I want to give a quick update on how we're doing with the COVID-19 response. And I'm at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is really the heartbeat of our response, with Matt Kallmeyer, who's the director of the Atlanta-Fulton County Emergency Management Agency, and truly has been the leader of our effort from day one. But first, let me just say a couple of things. First of all, the trends are all headed in the right direction. And it looks like that we're exactly at the point that we want to be, with daily cases now getting down close to 100. That's probably a fifth of where they've been at a high point recently. The folks in the hospital are just over 200. That's in good shape for where we have been. And most importantly, the positivity rate now is below 5%, which is a critical benchmark to allow us to do effective contact tracing. So all those trends are headed in the right direction. Of course, testing has been a hallmark of our effort, and Matt and his team have been in the middle of that. And testing over 1.8 million folks now in Fulton County has been not only a leader in the state of Georgia, but I would say a leader nationally. But learning everything that we did with testing and all of the good results that accrued from that have now been applied to vaccinations. And I wanted to be here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with Matt because this is only one of a few what are known as Tier 1 centers in the United States, and it's the highest performing center. So Matt, why don't you tell everyone, first of all, how this came to be, where it started from, and now with active military, I understand a 4-star general just left from visiting, how that has come together and how it has served citizens and what some of the numbers are.
So it was really incredible. We actually started doing our first vaccination back in December of 2020. December actually 17th was our first vaccination we did. We moved into this facility on actually January the 4th, and we started doing our first vaccinations of public safety people downstairs in the Delta Lounge. And as we continued to grow, we thought, why not leverage a beautiful facility like this? And we came up here to where we are. This was what we called Pod A when we started the whole process. And that's where we started just welcoming the community, our healthcare partners, and our folks over 65. And we just kept growing from there. So what you reference is a Type 1 FEMA vaccination center, community vaccination center. We were selected as a location to do that. There's only 10 in the country. And what that means is that you have to perform over 6,000 vaccines a day, 7 days a week, and you can do the math. It comes out to 42,000 vaccines you're supposed to be able to accomplish. We have been termed the machine. When the FEMA administrator came here and looked at how we ran this process, he went back up and told all his other regional administrators, this is the gold standard. This is how you should go ahead and design and build other Type 1 facilities. And the other day, we actually were able to go ahead and achieve a milestone. 10,780 people we vaccinated in one day.
Wow.
The closest place to us that was able to do it was 7,800. So it's not something that we want to brag about, but we're proud of it. That means that many people in our community got vaccinated, and that's how we're going to stamp out this virus, is by getting individuals vaccinated.
That's phenomenal. And you've done some innovative things in both in terms of hours and even walk-up appointments at times. So comment on that if you would.
One of the things we wanted to do as we started this process and we were looking at is how do we remove barriers? This is a walk-up facility. A lot of the other ones you see out there are drive-up ones. So if you don't have a vehicle, where do you go? So we went ahead and got rid of that barrier by offering this. There's 2 MARTA lines at this location that people can take advantage. A bus stop. We have ride-share drop-off locations. So we try to take care of that first. The next thing we looked at is how do we go ahead and take care of, I would have wanted to have the vaccine, but. So one of those things is non-traditional hours. So we have 15 days in our schedule so far that we're going to 10 o'clock at night. So we want to have those non-traditional things to get people before work, after work, and we have Saturdays and Sundays as well. And I think that's an important thing for all of our viewers to remember, is that we not only have this site, which is our flagship location, but we have one that's serving the citizens in South Fulton and one of the ones that's serving citizens in North Fulton. And then we're sprinkling some mobile units inside there as well to go ahead and get to where the people that need it the most. So it's a really cool program that we're being able to do. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the Board of Commissioners' support, and we just continue to go ahead and get this done.
Just one other, I guess, thing to ask you to comment on is the mobile, or the strategy to use mobile units. And I think, again, that's something that you pioneered along with outside providers as well as the Board of Health. Really took that to the next level during testing, and now, as I understand it, we're going to go to 10 mobile units plus another mobile unit from the Board of Health, so I guess 11 in total. And I think for all the rest of the state of Georgia, there's something like 17. So What do you hope to accomplish with mobile units?
What we want to do is getting rid of that barrier once again. If you, for some reason, you can't get here, but if that mobile unit's at a faith-based organization in your neighborhood, or if it's just some place you can easily get to, we want to be able to capture folks, the spontaneous consumer per se. That person's like, well, I don't really want to make an appointment, but wow, that truck is there, let me just go ahead and walk up and get a vaccine. I think that's the next frontier that we have to crack. We're getting to the point that people that want the vaccine are taking advantage of the appointments that we have, but it's those ones that just don't want to go ahead and take that extra step by going online. So we have the call center. If you don't want to go online and register, call our call center, call the state call center. You can find that on our website at fultoncountyga.gov. And then from there, we'll go ahead and get you an appointment. But if not, you'll see places like this, and we're welcoming people for walk-up. Just check the calendar, and you'll be able to see our operations, and we're welcoming people here to be able to help get vaccinated.
And there's still plenty more vaccines to deliver. I think we're up to close to 300,000 or so administered now. So that means there's plenty more citizens that need to take the vaccine, but we now are seeing more and more a predictable supply.
Yes, and that's a beautiful thing that's allowed us to go and activate these mobile units. Before that, it was almost Christmas. Every Monday we get our vaccine supply. We'll go ahead and determine how many appointments we had available, and then we would start dispersing that through our fixed sites, and then there are a couple mobile sites. But as now we start getting to that point, a supply chain that's actually we have confidence in, we can increase the mobile units, we can increase the amount of appointments that we have places like this. And even though there's some questions about the J&J vaccine, nothing to fear. We have Pfizer vaccine that we'll be able to continue to offer at all of our locations as we go ahead and work through our calendar.
Well, Matt, you've done a terrific job from the outset of this. I want to thank you. Obviously, you've had a governor visit you here, a U.S. senator, a four-star general, and now a county manager has even come to see you. So, I mean, you have seen the intelligentsia of all of our country in one place. But I say that tongue-in-cheek to just make note of the fact of how many folks in positions of public policy making are coming to see this. And the reason they are coming to see it is what you just mentioned. It's the efficiency, the customer friendliness of it, obviously the throughput, and how important it is to really stamping out this pandemic.
Thank you, sir.
So again, thank you. One other note, as we're talking about this, we're shaping our plans in light of the federal funding that's becoming available. And we shared with our commissioners some of those plans. And I think the community is going to be very, very well served. First and foremost, of course, is the health response. So it's funding this location. It's funding 10 mobile sites where the rest of the state has 17 in total. It's doing an advertising campaign that will both reach communities of color as well as the broad market to encourage people to go ahead and take the vaccine. It also, though, is looking at our own operational stability. So, for example, there are thousands of cases that have built up in backlog in our court system. We'll dedicate as much as $60 million to clearing that backlog on an expedited basis. We're also going to pandemic-proof our facilities for going forward events such as this. So it will depend on and look to bringing about 50% of our employees back into our offices and socially distancing them and putting them in a position where they are safe from one another as well as safe from the public. So for all of those reasons, we'll have, I believe, the best response of any county in Georgia for certain, but even nationally. But the center of it is getting control of this virus, and vaccines are the clearest way to do that. So please take advantage of all of the services that we have available. Visit Mercedes-Benz Stadium if you want a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but get that vaccine as quickly as possible.
Thank you very much, sir. That's just some of what's happening in Fulton. To stay connected, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, join us on our YouTube channel anytime, but do us a favor and subscribe. That does it for this edition. Thank you so much for watching. Join us daily for news around and about Fulton County.